Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program Capital Beat. Right now I am at Bhopal's renowned boat club area. It's a close fight between BJP and Congress for 230 Vidhan Sabha seats. What are the issues resonating on the ground? Which way the political headwinds are swaying? Joining me now is Rakesh Dikshit, the senior journalist and political commentator with us. Thank you so much, Rakesh, for joining.
Thank you.
And we also have with us Milind Khitwai, who was formerly associated with Indian Express. Thank you so much, Milind, for joining on the Federal. And let me begin with Rakesh ji. How do you see of course, now the polling is going to happen it's just a matter of time. Few hours left. The countdown has already begun. Just 2 days before, are we really in a position to say which way is the political headwind swing?
No, it's very difficult to say which way the headwind is going. Till as late as 3 months ago, it looked like Congress will win hands down. But the power dynamics has changed and BJP has bounced back in the reckoning. BJP now it's safe to say the contest is very keen, and nobody can predict the result. What's going to happen on the 3rd of December?
But if 3 months ago people said that Congress looked like in the hot seat and it was in a position to come back with more than 150 seats, what has really happened in this span of time? Has BJP recovered the ground because now Shivraj is back on the driver's seat, or Congress has lost in terms of narrative, in terms of their internal fighting? What would you say would be the factors responsible for this kind of a political situation now in Madhya Pradesh?
Two things. Earlier, the BJP workers were very reluctant and kind of angry, and they didn't know, they were also confused. But BJP High Command and Shivraj Singh, they have managed to persuade the workers to work for the party, regardless of their anger, regardless of their whatever issues or complaint they may have. So, in a way, the BJP High Command and the Chief Minister, their joint and combined efforts have paid off, and workers are working for the party. Though there have been some revolts in here and there in a dozen odd constituencies, but by and large, worker is again charged up and it's working for the BJP. That's why the contest has become very keen now.
So it would be wrong to say in a way that BJP's strategy was not right, when they have fielded union ministers and people like Kailash Vijayvargiya, who was part of the organization. So, and people did criticize that strategy of BJP. So is that working in BJP's favor?
No, it's not at all working in the BJP's favor. In fact, it was a very bad gambit. And BJP, if BJP had not fielded those 7 MPs, including 3 union ministers, and apart from BJP National General Secretary Kailash Vijayvargiya from Indore 1 seat, BJP's chances would have been better. But it happened that all these 7 MPs, they are stuck in their own constituency. BJP's idea was to field them so that other constituencies, adjoining constituencies, they will also have a positive effect of big ones and big guns contesting election. But it proved counterproductive in a way, because they themselves are stuck in constituency and they are facing very tough fight. Right. For instance, Ganesh Singh in Satna, Rakesh Singh in Jabalpur West constituency, Naren Singh Tomar in Dimni, they are so stuck down in their own constituency, they can't move out of their own constituency, so forget about campaigning for others. So that strategy has miserably failed.
Now I want to talk about Congress as well. Of course, BJP seems to have recovered the lost ground, which initially at least was the perception. Now, what has gone wrong with Congress really in terms of, was the video which between Kamal Nath and Digvijay, which came out and people saw, where they were talking about tearing each other's clothes, was that video a nail in the coffin, or was it a far bigger internal firefighting within Congress? Has this led to a situation which has deteriorated for Congress?
No, that made good headlines, but beyond that, it didn't have much traction on the ground. Okay. See, these two are veteran leaders. They have been around for a long, long time. So they would not let these comments come in the way of their partnership. They have been working together for nearly 4 decades. Obviously, they had their own differences. They had their own fiefdoms. But this time, unlike 2018, there were many factions in the Congress. But now, with Digvijay Singh himself is not in contention, and only Kamal Nath there. So in that sense, there is no rivalry between two. Maybe it comes to ensuring the future of their children. But even that, because Digvijay Singh's son was already a minister in Kamal Nath government, right. And Kamal Nath's son is already a parliamentarian. So I don't think that will really affect and it will send a message that Congress is disunited, which was the case before. That time, in fact, it is a funny case in Madhya Pradesh that there were so many factions that they had different spokespersons for different factions. Right. I am sure that has not happened anywhere else. Even in the PCC office, they had separate chambers for spokesperson for each faction.
But despite all these differences, you feel that the Congress campaign has been united more or less?
It is united, but given BJP's resources, BJP has covered ground thanks largely to this Ladli Behna Yojana and its own resources. Because everywhere you go, you see BJP's posters, hoardings, right. Their raths are moving around, and their election machinery is far better organized than Congress. So Congress appeared to have a clear edge. They still seem to be ahead of BJP, but given BJP's resources, it seems BJP has covered some ground, if not. The
Scindia factor also is a very prominent factor this time because Congress doesn't have a leader like Jyotiraditya Scindia, and he's part of BJP now. Yeah. Now, does that factor better the prospects for Congress? Is it a blessing for Congress that he's not there and he's part of BJP? On the ground, how does that factor play out, especially the Gwalior-Chambal region?
It was a blessing because he was the one who brought down the Kamal Nath government. So BJP owes it to him. Had it not been for him, Kamal Nath would have still been in power. So in that sense, he's a factor. He was believed to be very popular in his region, Gwalior-Chambal. But when by-elections were held in 2020, 6 or 7 of his close people they lost, but majority of them won. So that is still a factor because it also depends on how BJP does well in that region. Right. BJP did very badly in 2018. A lot depends on his future is also at stake. If BJP does very badly in those areas and if BJP loses, he will have a lot to answer for.
Right. But Rakeshji, what are the dominant factors, or rather more than the factors, what are the issues which are playing out on the ground? There is corruption, there's price rise, there's inflation, but can we say that there is one dominant factor which will favor a particular party, whether it is BJP or Congress?
It's very difficult to single out or point out one dominant factor. There is a combination of factors like, of course, corruption, price rise and unemployment. These are the secular issues which are prominent. And Hindutva is also an issue. And other factors are the freebies. These are, in fact, freebies are dominant factor, I may say so. Because Ladli Behna...
So whichever party gives more has more chances of winning.
Whichever party, and they are competing like never before. This time, Ladli Behna, then Padho Padhao Yojana of Congress, and for tribal area also Congress has made 3 promises: hiking rates of Tendupatta plucking, and implementation of PESA, and implementation of 6th schedule in the areas where tribal population is more than 50%. So these are the issues which are resonating with the people, especially in the tribal areas. So Congress has reason to be hopeful of improving upon its tally in the tribal area. Earlier in the 2018 election, Congress had won 30 out of 47 reserved seats for the tribals.
But why are the tribals so unhappy with BJP? I did meet a few tribals yesterday when I was on the Bhopal-Nagpur highway. And in the Betul area, I did meet a few tribals and they looked very unhappy. Some of them complained that the Ladli Behna scheme has not reached them. Some of them were complaining their accounts have not opened. Some of them didn't have Aadhaar cards. So those were technical issues. But by and large, what is the reason of resentment with the tribals, as far as BJP is concerned?
Tribals want to live with dignity, with self-respect, and with security. Whereas the BJP seems to believe that mere tokenism will satisfy tribals. See, changing names of railway station, Habibganj railway station to Kamlapati railway station, or Tantia Mama, Patalkot station to Tantia Mama station, or setting up a museum in the name of some tribal heroes. That works emotionally, but beyond a point it doesn't work. Tribals.
It will not translate too much in terms of the voting pattern, you're saying?
I don't think so. It's not going to translate in terms of voting pattern to a great extent. Tribal want dignity, tribal want security. Security is the overarching issue that troubles tribals, because most of the so-called dabangs, the muscled people, they are from the upper caste, and many of them, if not the most, owe allegiance to the BJP. So tribal have come to recognize their oppressors as BJP people. That's the reason why they are so angry against the BJP.
I would also like to talk about this urination episode which happened in Sindhi, and then Shivraj Chauhan tried to wash the feet of that person. Now, what about that particular episode? How much does it echo still on the ground, or people have forgotten about that incident? Would they forgive Shivraj about that?
I think people's memories are really short, and that incident appears to be a distant memory. That may be an issue in Sindhi and nearby areas where that incident took place. But away from that, I'm not so sure whether it still resonates with people. Though it will be there in subconscious, people will have some recall value, but I'm not sure whether it will actually affect voting, whether it will change people's preferences. Because BJP began its tribal outreach more than 2 years ago. They started celebrating tribal icons, and he said, like, renaming the railway stations, giving holidays on those. So all this BJP has been doing, because tribals were seen to be traditional.
Whose outreach is better, you feel, when you talk about Congress and BJP in terms of the tribal outreach?
That is because BJP is in power. So only BJP can hand out things, unlike Congress, which is in opposition. So BJP is going on out of way to help tribals, and because it's in position to do that, both at the center and state level, unlike Congress, which is in opposition. So on its own, Congress cannot do except making statements and offering help or making promises. But BJP is actually doing it because it's in power, not for any other reason.
But Rakeshji, what are the challenges for BJP on the ground? Of course, they have too many leaders. They have Narendra Singh Tomar, they have Kailash Vijayvargiya. All are supposed to be the prospective chief ministers. Then you have a Shivraj Chauhan as well, who was sidelined initially, but now just a few weeks back, he is now back on the driver's seat. So is it like BJP has realized that they can't do without Shivraj? Or have they realized their mistakes and now they are compensating for it? How is it really translating?
See, the biggest challenge before the BJP right now is to dispel the confusion amongst party workers that who is going to be chief minister. There is a lot of confusion after the way central leadership took the command of the campaigning and sought to sideline Shivraj Singh. Of course, Shivraj Singh is again back in the reckoning, because the High Command also realized that it's too difficult and too risky to marginalize Shivraj Singh Chauhan, especially for the fact because he is the most credible OBC leader in Madhya Pradesh, and now that the Congress has racked up this issue of caste-based census, so BJP cannot afford to antagonize Shivraj Singh Chauhan. So there is the confusion, a lot of confusion, who is going to be chief minister. Earlier, the BJP workers knew all along Shivraj Singh is the chief minister's place. So this is the challenge, to dispel this confusion in the BJP workers. Second is...
No, but BJP still is not conveying in very clear words that if it wins, then Shivraj will become the chief minister. They haven't spelled out.
That's why this confusion persists. That's a big challenge for the BJP. Secondly, this corruption issue, it may not be very visible, but it has seeped into consciousness of the people, and this 50% commission ki sarkar, this slogan, there is a slight modification from Congress's war cry in Karnataka, 40% commission ki sarkar, now it's 50% commission.
But the way it worked in Karnataka, when you talk about the 40% Sarkara government, the narrative, I was there and I could feel it. And that Congress is winning, that sense was very palpable. But I don't see that sense playing out much in Madhya Pradesh, despite so many scams being there, which media has highlighted.
The biggest scam was Vapam scam.
Vapam.
2013. Yes. That affected lakhs of students, job seekers, etc. And despite that, elections that were held within 6 months, BJP got more than 170 seats. So I'm not sure corruption in that sense has traction on the ground.
No, but even on the ground, when I met people yesterday, a lot of them said corruption to sabhi karte hain, bhrashtachar to Congress bhi karti hai, BJP bhi karti hai.
Yeah. In 2013, the ramifications of Vyapam corruption scam were still unfolding. So people didn't realize the magnitude of the Vyapam scam. It's only in 2018 election that they realized, they came to know what exactly is Vyapam scam all about. It's a multi-layered and multi-billionaire.
And partly also because when 2013 elections were held, Prime Minister Modi had already been declared as a PM face by BJP. So even that added to BJP's votes, because he was declared PM face, I think, in 2013 September, and elections were held in late November. So even that added. That's why it took BJP more than 170 seats.
But Rakeshji, how much is the factor of Hindutva really working? Say, for example, in Chhattisgarh, Bhupesh Baghel has neutralized Ram, he's neutralized Gai, Gobar, everything he has neutralized, and he's consolidated that agenda in favor of Congress. Does it play out in a similar manner in Madhya Pradesh as well?
So, like Bhupesh Baghel did in Chhattisgarh, Kamal Nath has done in Madhya Pradesh.
But has he done it so aggressively?
Yes, he hasn't done it aggressively. That's the beauty of his strategy. He almost just ignored the issue. Whenever the issue of Hindutva, Sanatan Dharma came up, Congress consistently avoided playing on the BJP's pitch. So that so much so that BJP also stopped raking up or raising this issue. Earlier, BJP had raised the Sanatan Dharma ka apman issue after Udayanidhi Stalin's controversial comment, and linking it to the India alliance, of which Congress is the biggest partner. But it didn't apparently work. Then the Ram Mandir issue, they raised it with much hype and hoopla. It also seems to be not working on the ground. So Hindutva issue is not playing on the minds of the people as much as you.
Yeah.
I was, in fact,
Ram Mandir is already a done thing now. People can see Ram Mandir being constructed. Unlike previously when there was some apprehension whether there were court rulings, etc. But now that it's there, I am not sure whether Ram Mandir has an electoral issue. I'm sure it has lost its appeal.
But is then BJP losing out on the Hindutva narrative? Because gradually and slowly, when Congress is also trying to play out the same pitch, as what BJP's narrative is, there is BJP losing out on the Hindutva as well.
It's not losing in that, but Congress, by engaging in this religious, competitive religiosity, it has managed to neutralize BJP's attempt to portray it as anti-Hindu or pro-Muslim. So, at least in Madhya Pradesh, Congress has succeeded in sending the message that it is not anti-Hindu or pro-Muslim. Though Digvijay Singh's statements often puts Congress in spot.
Yes.
But because Kamal Nath being in charge, so Congress has managed to neutralize BJP's campaign theme that it's a pro-Muslim party, and of course all those usual rhetoric.
There is a perception about Kamal Nath that he is the man on the driver's seat. He is the one who's driving the narrative here, and he's not even listening to the central leadership. Now, would that be correct in terms of the way things have happened for Congress? Whether it is the ticket distribution, whether it is the playing out of the campaign, or whether it is going out and campaigning to various areas. So, is that perception correct?
See, India rally had been announced in Bhopal, but
And he cancelled.
He cancelled it. So that showed he has. I mean, there are people who listen to him in Delhi, and of course that would have put Congress in a spot. Had the rally been held in Bhopal with that Sanatan issue still fresh in mind, then there would have been media stories about whether Udaynidhi comes to Bhopal and why. So in that way, it makes sense if you have one clear face, one clear authority. Rahul Gandhi, he did campaign last time. So in that, I'm sure it will help Congress. Unlike BJP because which has sent mixed signals. You never know who's going to be the CM. When you have, and then BJP High Command went out of its way to claim that Shivraj Singh Chauhan had become so unpopular that they did not make him face of this Jan Ashirwad Yatra.
Yes.
He doesn't feature in campaign material. He's among the 10 leaders.
And is it true? Is it true that the Ladli Behna scheme, which was Shivraj's brainchild, that was also not talked about by Amit Shah and Modi?
But now they have realized this.
Okay.
So, of course, in their usual adversarial style, they have started accommodating and acknowledging the scheme, and at the same time warning people that if you elect Congress by mistake, then Congress will stop this scheme.
Right.
It's a popular scheme, but earlier they did not even acknowledge the existence of that scheme. And there are 2.70 crore women voters in Madhya Pradesh. Out of them, 1.32 are beneficiaries of this scheme. And also when that scheme was launched, BJP had staked everything on it. And Mama, he enjoys that meme, Mama, and this scheme, Behna. So Behna, who's Behna? These are Shivraj's Behna, not Modi's Behna. I mean, of course, Shivraj Singh is not giving from his own pocket.
Right.
It's a government money,
yeah.
but because he is the CM face, and that scheme was linked to his prospects.
Right.
And then suddenly, if you remove him, if you dissociate party from him, so that was not a good strategy. And I think party has tried to make a course correction.
Right.
I'm not sure whether it is a little late in the day.
Right. But this course correction of bringing back Shivraj, does it not land him in a spot as well? Because when Modi and Amit Shah don't talk about schemes like Ladli Behna Yojana, which they didn't in the beginning, and now obliquely if they are making a mention of that. So supposing if BJP wins, and the sense which I got from the ground was that this Ladli Behna scheme is very, very popular, and people still feel that Shivraj is popular because of this scheme. So if BJP wins, the credit will go to Shivraj or the credit will go to Modi?
See, Shivraj Singh is the BJP's biggest asset and also biggest liability. Because his 18 years rule, they continue to haunt the voters. And people rightly ask if these Ladli Behna scheme and other myriad schemes that he has announced, if they were so effective and so good to transform the state, why didn't he implement those schemes when he was Chief Minister for 18 years? Why it's now when the election is round the corner? So BJP doesn't have any satisfactory answer to this question. And in fact, the whole election revolves around this question. And Congress has been consistently raising this poser. Why didn't BJP, why didn't the Chief Minister implement Ladli Behna Yojana earlier? Why didn't he take care of tribals' welfare schemes? Why didn't he announce all these pre-poll bonanza for the employees, for the farmers, for other sections of the society? Why it's now? BJP doesn't have answer. So that way, Shivraj Singh is a liability. That said, BJP doesn't have any leader to match Shivraj Singh's stature, and he's the pan Madhya Pradesh following. Kailash Vijayvargiya, Narottam Mishra, Uma Bharti is now in the wilderness. So one need not mention about her political relevance now. So that way he is asset and liability both, and they can't. It's a big dilemma for the BJP. They can't jettison him, and they can't embrace him either.
So if this is BJP's dilemma, then does it work in favor for Congress? That is a $1 million question. And if what Rakeshji was saying, that there are lots of answers, which people are seeking for from BJP. So has Congress been able to satisfy the voter mind?
See, freebies have been around for a long time. In South, I'm sure it has worked for a long time. So this election will be crucial in the sense that for the first time in the heartland, elections will be decided mainly on the issues of freebies. But Congress
freebies-
was also forced to announce. So Congress didn't sit back. Congress has announced 1,500 rupees. If BJP has started with 1,000 rupees and increased it to 1,250, and now it has promised that it will raise the amount to 3,000. So Congress also promised 1,500 rupees. So Congress knows that this works. Obviously, everybody knows it's anybody's answer why this was announced this year, because it's an election year.
So freebies would be the cornerstone of Madhya Pradesh elections also, like what Chhattisgarh is showing.
Yeah, that's because there is no one overriding issue that's common across the state. So when there are no emotive issues, things like this work. Had there been Ram Temple movement like the previous time, or NRC, or but there's no such movement. Even in 2018 there was this farm loan issue and also farm unrest. After that, Congress announced farm loan waivers. So it was an issue in 2018 elections. But this time, there is no one overriding factor that will decide the issue. And that's why, and Madhya Pradesh, that vote share is so close. BJP got only 0.13% votes more than Congress. Though, of course, in terms of seat, it got 5 seats less. And Madhya Pradesh is a bipolar polity. The third element, it was independents who won more votes than either BSP or GJP, other parties. So it was BJP, Congress, and then independents, the share of their votes.
Recently, that video which became viral where Kamal Nath spoke against Akhilesh, and then people were saying that kya chala jata agar unko 4 seat de dete to. If he had given 4 seats to Samajwadi Party, apparently that would have helped Congress. Yes. But why Congress didn't do that, knowing it fully well that it would have worked in favor of Congress?
Congress was probably arrogant that time. I'm sure they should have made some accommodations. It should have been symbolic. It need not have been 25 seats. Even 2 seats that would have held them not just in 2013 this election, but also in the general elections. Because then they would have been in a position to bargain better with SP. Because Congress does not have much presence in Uttar Pradesh. Of course, SP is a strong contender there. So, but by denying that space to SP, I think India Alliance as a whole, they have made a mistake.
But from what you are saying, Rakeshji, would it be right to say that Kamal Nath apparently would be seen as a leader who's jeopardized India Alliance miserably, because the India Alliance meetings have not taken place. Seat sharing was supposed to take off, which it didn't in Madhya Pradesh. So has he jettisoned India Alliance completely? In fact, I asked him this question when I met him yesterday, that what is your priority? You are not looking at 2024 elections. So he categorically said that, my first priority is to win Madhya Pradesh. So what does it show? I mean, is he hell-bent on jeopardizing India Alliance then?
I think jeopardizing is a little too harsh to say, but he has certainly dented the image of the India Alliance. It was uncalled for him to say Akhilesh. Samajwadi Party had asked for 6 seats, and both the party could have very well settled for 4 to 5 seats. And for Kamal Nath, for the Congress in Madhya Pradesh to concede 5 seats to the India Alliance partner would not have been a big thing out of 230 seats after all. And in any case, now that the alliance is severed, the Samajwadi Party and Congress are contesting separately, there is a bigger chance of Samajwadi Party causing damage to the Congress. So it was a very strategic blunder on the part of Congress's Kamal Nath. He should have taken his party bosses into account and he should have consulted Rahul Gandhi. Of course, Rahul Gandhi later tried to mend the situation. He accommodated Akhilesh. He spoke to Akhilesh, but it was too late.
Of course, that was a strategic blunder.
Congress does well in these elections, then I think it will argue from a position of authority. If they do well, but this is hypothetical. If they do well, then all these things can be set aside. Nothing succeed like success.
Right. But since we are talking about Kamal Nath, it's important to talk about the battle for Chhindwara. How intense is that? Because when I was moving around yesterday and talking to people over there, I could feel that there is a sense that Chhindwara is going to be tough for Kamal Nath. Now, how tough we do not know, but this Bunty Sahu, who is a BJP candidate, is giving him a tough fight. And the entire political battle is playing out between Hanuman devotee, who is Kamal Nath, and Bunty Sahu, who is a Shiv devotee. Now, Do you think that that will really resonate in favor of BJP? And can BJP really unseat Kamal Nath from Chhindwara?
I'm not so sure about that particular seat, but in the region, Congress should do well, given that it is a bastion of Kamal Nath. And on that particular seat, in 2018, when Kamal Nath was not an MLA, he became Chief Minister and then he contested a by-election. But that by-election was held along with the general election. So that's why that margin was very squeezed. Because there was a Modi wave, but this time I'm not sure whether that margin will go down, but this will help. Congress should be in a better position than what's being made out.
All right. So now one final word on the wild guess which we can make. That's a very difficult proposition, in fact, but how many seats do we look at? I mean, as compared to 2018 elections, would it be easy to predict how many seats Congress and BJP will get, Rakesh, according to you?
All said and done, Congress has an edge. Congress is expected to do better than the BJP. My guess is, of course, I may be wrong, and you never know what's going to happen on 3rd December. My guess is Congress will be able to get between 125 to 130 seats.
No, but what if they do not get a comfortable majority? Would it be something like what we saw in 2018, where again another Operation Lotus, maybe another Jyotiraditya Scindia will play out within Congress?
I don't think so. There is no Jyotiraditya Scindia around in the Congress now. But you never know, the BJP's Operation Lotus is very lethal. So they can make anybody out of their Congress leaders as Jyotiraditya Scindia and other Jyotiraditya Scindia.
So on the margin, the difference, for example, in Rajasthan, they tried Operation Lotus, but that didn't work because the difference between them was high, unlike Madhya Pradesh, where there was only difference of 5 seats between them.
But that was an interesting line where you said that BJP's Operation Lotus can create another Scindia.
It's possible, but again, provided the elections is close. Right. If the margin is high, say more than 25-30 seats, then it would be difficult. Right. Unlike in 2020.
Right. But it's difficult predicting this time.
It's too tough to call, and frankly, I won't hazard a guess. Okay. Though I mean, I can only say the election is very close.
Okay, so it looks like a neck and neck fight, an interesting battle playing out, but we would know the final results only on 3rd December. Thank you so much, Rakeshji, for joining. Thank you, Milind. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion: subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to The Federal.
Subscribe to The Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.